In 2013, guests at the Cecil Hotel complained their water tasted strange. They were drinking from the tank where Elisa Lam's dead body was floating for weeks. That wasn't the first time something died in the walls of that building, and it wouldn't be the last. In downtown Los Angeles, surrounded by the noise of sirens, cracked sidewalks, and the rusted machinery of forgotten dreams, there stands a building that was never just a hotel at 640 South Main Street. In the heart of Skid Row, the Cecil Hotel rises like a monument to something long dead but not gone. Most people walk by without looking up, unaware of what sleeps behind its walls. Some, however, look too long and never forget what they saw. The Cecil isn't just haunted, it's cursed. It doesn't hide the dead, it keeps them. Before we continue, do not forget to subscribe the channel Flesh Fables and like the video. If you love real haunted and horror stories, a towering ambition of marble and brass, wrapped in opulence and hope, a hotel for the wealthy traveler, a jewel of downtown's boom. But it didn't take long for that dream to rot. The Great Depression swept through Los Angeles like a plague, and the surrounding streets withered into poverty. The rich moved out, the desperate moved in. What began as luxury quickly became a haven for the lost and the damned. As the years dragged on, the Cecil became the center of something much darker than economic collapse. It became a place where people went to vanish, a magnet for suicides, murders, and monsters hiding in plain sight. The first death happened in 1927. A man named Percy Cook was found dead in his room from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No one noticed the smell until it seeped through the walls. In 1931, a man named W.K. Norton swallowed poison in his room and quietly passed. There was no sign of struggle, no note, just a body found a week later. In 1937, a woman named Grace Magro fell from the 9th floor and became tangled in telephone wires on the way down. Whether she jumped or was pushed was never determined. A few years later, in 1944, something even more horrifying took place. A 19-year-old woman named Dorothy Jean Purcell went into labor in her hotel room without even knowing she was pregnant. Believing the baby was stillborn, she threw it out the window. It landed on the roof of an adjacent building. In 1962, Pauline Ayton got into an argument with her estranged husband inside the Cecil. He left the room. She opened the window and jumped, plunging to her death. Her body crushed an unsuspecting man named George Giannini, who had simply been walking by. Both died instantly. There was no way to identify him until the autopsy. In the eyes of the Cecil, even the innocent weren't safe. A few years later, in 1964, a beloved older woman, nicknamed Pigeon Goldie Osgood, was found raped and murdered in her room. She had lived there peacefully for years, feeding birds at a nearby park, wearing her Dodgers cap every day. She was found with that same cap still in her hands, strangled and stabbed, her room ransacked. Her killer was never found. No arrests, no justice, only silence. The Cecil's hallways grew darker with time. Death didn't scare people away. It attracted them. During the 1980s, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, made the Cecil his home. He would come and go freely, often returning from murder sprees, still drenched in blood, tossing his clothes in the dumpster behind the building and walking up to his room in nothing but underwear. The staff never questioned him. Nobody did. The hotel was full of shadows. One more demon slipping through them went unnoticed. Years later, in the 1990s, Another killer moved in. Jack Unterweger, an Austrian journalist supposedly covering American crime. In truth, he was using the Cecil as his hunting ground, murdering workers, strangling them with the ropes. Just like Ramirez, he came home quietly, as if the walls welcomed him. But even these monsters weren't the final story the Cecil had to tell. In 2013, a young woman named Eliza Lamb checked into the hotel. She was a 21-year-old Canadian student traveling alone. At first, everything seemed normal until she disappeared. Hotel staff hadn't seen her in days. Her parents hadn't heard from her. The LAPD began searching the premises. Then the hotel released the elevator footage, grainy, eerie, and unforgettable. Elisa was seen stepping in and out of the elevator like she was being watched. She pressed multiple buttons, waved her arms strangely, hid in the corner, then stepped out, never to be seen again. Her behavior was unnatural, as if she were talking to something just out of frame, and then she vanished. In 2021, the Cecil reopened as low-income housing, a humanitarian move, perhaps, but the energy remains. Tenants report strange sounds, whispers, doors that lock from the inside, lights that flicker even when the power is stable. Security footage occasionally glitches, skipping entire seconds of time, but no one investigates anymore. Because no one wants to know what might still be roaming the halls of that building. The Cecil Hotel is more than just haunted. It's infected. Every floor has seen despair. Every room has heard someone die. It's a building made of suffering, and it breathes it in, day after day, decade after decade. The ghosts there don't whisper, they scream. But the walls have learned to muffle it. The wallpaper hides more blood than anyone will admit. The ceilings sag from the weight of what they've seen, and still, people check in. Still, the elevator waits. If you ever walk past 640 South Main Street, don't look up. Don't stare too long at the windows, because they stare back. And if you ever find yourself inside the Cecil, riding the elevator at night, pressing a button for a floor that doesn't exist, and the lights flicker, and the doors open to darkness, do not step out, do not move, because once the Cecil takes you, it never gives you back.